Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam everyone, and welcome to another Sunday or Sunday evening program. And this is not an ordinary Sunday evening. This is a special Gita Marathon Sunday program. We are approaching our very dear uh, Gita Jayanti coming on this Tuesday with Moksha Ekadashi and building up the enthusiasm to participate and go on and distribute the books uh, if possible. If not, then online. If not possible, then please contribute. Welcoming you all again with this enthusiasm in this Sunday program. Thank you, everyone. And as we proceed, we are going to go ahead with Srila Prabhupada Arti. After taking blessings of him, we'll proceed to listen some nectarian instructions, and then as we proceed further in the program, all favorite bhajan and kirtan section. Following that, we are going to have short Jai Radha Madhav and a Charcha session. It's a very special Charcha session with Haridas Prabhuji. Has blessed us to be part of the Sunday program this evening. Thank you, Prabhuji. Following that, we will be having again Aarti section. Our deities will be blessing us, and we'll be all there to take the blessings. And some announcements and the closer. Thank you so much. If Sachinand Prabhu is ready, then we'll go to temple for Srila Prabhupada Arti. Hare Krishna and Pranam.
Shri Guru Charana Paro Kevalo Bhakti Sadma Bandhamohi Savadhana Mate Jahara Hare Bhai He Bhavo Tore Ajai Krishna Prapte Hai Raha Hote Guru Mukha Bhagavako Chitte te koya arana kori hamare asha Shri Guru Charane roti eiseyo samagati Je prasade pure sarva आशा जे प्रसादे पुरे सर्व आशा सत्सदान दिल जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से विमगान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते हरदावे रात राते मेरे गाय जहर चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु परम जनारो बंधु लोकराज लोकेर जीवन Prabhupada Lokera Jivana Prabhupada Jaya Deho More Pada Chaya Eve Yadhu Sutre Bhavana Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnamesthaya Bhutale Shivate Bhakti Vedanta Swamite Nami Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prasari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Astatari Sutari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्री श्रीमद शरणानंद मुक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद गुरु पूजा की जय गौर आनंदी हरि हरि बोल जय हिंद।
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for Aarti, Sachin, and Prabhu. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And now, having blessings of Srila Prabhupada, we are going to listen to his Nectarian lecture. It's very important lecture. Please listen to it, and we'll have lot many understanding and blessings from him now. So, Sudarshan Prabhu, once you're ready, please put on the.
This yoga system, Bhakti Yoga, how to increase attachment for Krishna is being taught by our Krishna consciousness movement. Maya Saktamana Prartha Jugam Junyan Madasra. In this connection, one has to learn this yogic system from Krishna directly or from his representative. That is the meaning of Madasraya. One must take shelter either. So at the present moment it is not possible to take shelter of Krishna directly, therefore one has to take shelter of his bona fide representative, and there are four parties or sampradaya who are Vaishnavas, the Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya and Kumar Sampradaya. So one has to take shelter of either of these sampradaya, disciplic succession, and then learn the Bhakti Yoga system from him. Then he will understand or he will see God. Seeing God is not exactly seeing with the eyes. God's another name is Anubhav, realization, revelation, realization. So that is wanted. That revelation is made by Krishna himself to the bona fide devotee. Sevanmukhi hi jibhado sameva spurattada. Krishna, God reveals himself. Just like you cannot see the sun in the darkness of night. Sun is there in the sky, but somehow or other, when your planet is on the other side and it is darkness, you cannot see the sun. Not that the sun is not there, but you cannot see. Similarly, Krishna is always present before us, but we cannot see him. Just like Krishna when was personally present, there are so many hundreds and millions of men on the surface of the globe. Only few could see him that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna comes before somebody, it is not possible to see him. The seeing process is different. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. One can see when the eyes are anointed with the ointment of bhakti. And the eyes are cleansed to see God. That is revelation. It is said that a pure devotee is seeing Krishna every moment. Shanta sadaiva. Sadaiva means every moment. He is seeing. But that means he is a different person. His senses are purified, electrified, sanctified. That's what he is seeing. And one's eyes, if not sanctified, purified, he cannot see. There are so many examples. That's like a machine. A child is seeing, but he cannot see properly. He sees a lump of matter. But an engineer, when he sees, he immediately understands that this machine is made by such and such, it is working for this, a good machine, bad machine, nice. He can see in different way because he has got the eyes to see. Similarly, to understand Krishna, God, we require to purify our senses. That is defined by Narad Pancharatra. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam, being freed from all kinds of designation. Just like we are seeing Krishna consciousness, accepting Krishna consciousness in a vision, and somebody else, ordinary man, suppose somebody is in Christian, he sees Krishna consciousness as a movement of the Hindus. But actually it is not. Therefore, he has to become free from the designation of becoming an American. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam. One should be free from the designation. Like this body is a designation. Actually, there is no difference between American body and Indian body. The same physiological construction. There is blood, there is flesh, there is bone. If you see within the body, there is no difference. But still, we have designated, I am American, you are Indian, you are black, I am white, and these. These are all designations. False. So one has to become free from the designation. That is defined. That when we are freed from the designation, sarvapadhi vinirmuktam, one should be freed from the designation. Actually, designation has no value. The person is important, not the designation. So, to see Krishna means first business is to become free from the designation. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam. Tatparatena nirmalam. Here it is said matpara, and Narada says tatpara. Tatpara means to become Krishnized. And matpara means, Krishna says, you become matpara. Intensely absorbed in me. And the devotee says, intensely absorbed in Krishna. That is it. But actually the aim is the same. So one has to become designation free and intensely in Krishna. Sarvapadi vinirmaktam mat paratsana. Then he will be nirmal. Nirmal means purified, without any material contamination. I am thinking in terms of my bodily concept of life, that is material, because the body is material. So long I am thinking American, I am Indian, I am Brahmin, I am Kshatriya, I am this, I am that, they are all designations. That is not nirmalam, purified condition. Purified condition is when one understands that I am spirit soul, Krishna is the supreme spirit soul, and I am part and parcel of Krishna. We are one in quality. We may be different as individual. Krishna is big individual. I am a small individual. Just like in this material world also, one man is very powerful, another man is less powerful, but both of them are men. They are not animals. Similarly, Krishna, God, is qualitatively one with me. Quantitatively, he is very, very powerful.
Hare Krishna, what a wonderful and very, very powerful lecture. Just one important thing to understand is that it's not easy to teach a driver how to drive. Just suppose a person is driving in any other country, and they come to the UK and they want to drive. The driver instructor might double charge because it's not easy. Prabhupada is telling that we need to give up what we know before we take up Krishna consciousness. Give up the designations that we have, and then we'll be able to take up the consciousness which represents Krishna, which represents God. And there are many important points, but due to shortage of time, we would actually go to the Bhajan and Kirtan section now. And as we can see, the Kirtanias are already ready for this. So Alpa Mataji is already ready, and Arjun is already ready. So if you are already, if you can unmute yourself, Mataji, that will be great. And oh, wonderful! Danvat Pranam, Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So today you are doing Kirtan with Prabhuji and Arjun as well?
Yes. Hare
Thank you, Mataji. Please proceed.
Yeah. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna, everyone. Achyutam Kesavam Krishna Damodaram. Achyutam Kesavam Krishna Damodaram. Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. Achyutam Kesavam Krishna Damodaram. Achyutam Kesavam Krishna Damodaram. Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. Ramanarayanam Janaki Vallabham. कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं, कौन कहते हैं भगवान आते नहीं, बाय मीरा के जैसे बुलाते नहीं, बाय मीरा के जैसे बुलाते अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरम् अच्युतं केशवं कृष्ण दामोदरं राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान खाते नहीं बेर सबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं बेर सबरी के जैसे खिलाते नहीं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम राम नारायण जानकी वल्लभम राम नारायण जानकी वल्लभम कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान नाचते नहीं गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं गोपियों की तरह तुम नचाते नहीं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं कौन कहते हैं भगवान सोते नहीं माया सोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं माया सोदा के जैसे सुलाते नहीं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण दामोदरम अच्युतम केशवम कृष्ण राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं राम नारायणं जानकी वल्लभं हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ramo Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. What a wonderful power-packed performance. Thank you so much. I was feeling like shouting and dancing, so it's really, really wonderful. Thanks to very, very thanks to Harish Prabhu and Achan as well. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Then pranam. Hare Bol. And now we are going to next Kirtaniya. Are you ready? So we are going to very special Neelavan and Neelavan Mataji and Thakur Bhai. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how are you? Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you for coming, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. It's really wonderful to have you here. And please proceed with the treatment. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's just a bhajan, one Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. This Krishna Kanala ki jai. जाने क्या जादू भरा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, जाने क्या जादू भरा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, मन चमन हमारा हरा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, मन चमन हमारा हरा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, जाने क्या जादू भरा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, जब शौक मोह से गिर जाए तब गीता वचन दयनाए, जब शौक मोह से गिर जाए तब गीता वचन दयनाए, युग युग का अनुभव जुड़ा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, युग युग का अनुभव जुड़ा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, जाने क्या जादू भरा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में, गीता संतोष प्यारी है, श्रुति वेद धर्म अनुसारी है, गीता संतोष प्यारी है, श्रुति वेद धर्म अनुसारी, संसार का सार है भरा हुआ भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में संसार का सार भरा हुआ। भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में जाने क्या जादू भरा हुआ। भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में निष्काम भाव से गीता गावे। भय जन्म मरण का मिट जाए। निष्काम भाव से गीता गाए। भय जन्म मरण का मिट जाए। सब ज्ञान वेद सब भरा हुआ। भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में सब ज्ञान वेद सब भरा हुआ। भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में जाने क्या जादू भरा हुआ। भगवान तुम्हारी गीता मन चमन हमारा हरा हुआ। भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में भगवान तुम्हारी गीता में। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय श्री राधे जय श्री कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Thank you so much. Again, Dandavat pranams to you. It's wonderful because we can see, we know that the conclusion of all the scriptures is in Bhagavad Gita, and you sang it very beautifully, nicely selected, and it's really inspiring. So appropriate for this occasion. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hope you are. We'll see you again in a while, I believe, in the Churchill section. Thank you. Haribol. And now, before beginning of the Churchill section by His Grace Haridas Prabhuji, we'll go to Gurbani and family if they can do quick Radha Madhav. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Gurbani, Hare Krishna, Nimai, Danut Pranam, and Danut Pranam to Prabhuji and Mataji as well. Hope you are well, doing well. How are you, Nimai? Good? Wonderful. So please proceed with Radha Madhav. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Radha
Krishna. Thank you so much for doing Radha Madhav beautifully, and we all loved it. And it's so wonderful to see children in Yatra coming up so well and doing so well. And you are a big inspiration for all the children in Yatra and for all of us. Thank you. Hare Krishna and Pram. And now it's time for a very special moment of this evening, appearance of Sri Haridas Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So,
Okay, it's unmuted, yeah.
Hare-
Yes. Yeah, Haribol, Jai Ho. Nice to see. Lovely program so far. I mean, Thakubai just, with his bhajan, really said everything about Gita. What more can we say?
it is. I mean, it's really wonderful. And the way they set up this scene. And now they are here for the church as well. So that's wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Hare Krishna. And I believe Sachinan Prabhu is also joining us.
Yes, yes, he's part of this. These are my two chief guests. And, like Pujari, on one hand, full-time, devotee. On the other hand, a Grihastha couple who are giving so much service and not initiated yet. And their experiences of Bhagavad-Gita, to me, is wonderful to see one person like committed, like totally, and the other one committed totally, but not yet formally, in the Sampradaya system. But their views are amazing, it's life-changing. And I think this would affect everybody else as well, because Gita Jayanti, for us, is the milestone in the year where we get to read it all in Sanskrit, as it was spoken. And to me, that is incredible. I mean, it's not an easy task because we've been doing for quite a while. And our Guru Maharaj trained us, and it was lovely. First time we did it, we were just looking at Guru Maharaj's face. He was saying the shlok, his favorite shlokas. You know which one was his favorite. His face would brighten up, and he would say it from the heart, singing it really slowly. And we just thought, wish we could do that, And with the training, we're not that good, but at least, we enjoy. Some of the shlokas are our favorite, yeah. So today I'm going to find out how did they come across Bhagavad Gita, and what's important in Bhagavad Gita will change their life, and then how they're putting into use. So these will be the wonderful questions. Like you also came on and everybody enjoyed that little chat. So thank you for your input. And you just mentioned the children on Tuesday. There's some surprise. The children have memorized shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita, and they'll be opening the Gita Jayanti, which is on Tuesday at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. is early, and we'll read the whole of it in Sanskrit like that. So thank you very much. So I'll deal with my guests.
I'll give honor to you. Hare Krishna.
Jai Sri Radhe. Dandat Pranam, Thakubai, Neela Ben, and
Pranam Prabhuji.
Jai Ho, and Sachinandan Prabhuji, Jai Ho.
Jai Guru Maharaj, Jai Prabhupada.
Oh, lovely to see you too. So thank you for making time for this Churcha. We call it the Churchill Session. So this is your story. My questions, your story. And so there is no right or wrong. It's like, this is where you are and by whose influence. So today we're talking about Bhagavad Gita, a wonderful, very beautiful, scriptures or Shastra is part of Mahabharata, which is big. And this is sutras, means aphorism, just statements by Krishna. And the examples of the statements are expanded in Mahabharata. So this is the essence of Mahabharata. And in here, whatever is written, the examples are in Mahabharata. So that's wonderful. And we think, because it was spoken 5,000 years ago, maybe, it doesn't apply now. It applied then, it applies now, and it'll continue to apply as long as the creation is there. And another thing, who spoke this truth is, Bhagavan, Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord himself, he spoke this. So wonderful. He wasn't like, oh, maybe he said this and whatever. No, this is Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. He said, now, you can argue about it, like whether you accept it or not, but, you can't say it's wrong. If you don't accept it, that's your problem. But because the Lord is speaking the truth, is Sat. Just the other day we said Sat Chit Om Tat Sat. So Sat is whatever the Lord spoke in the scriptures. So this becomes the truth. So, okay, the first question, I'll put it to Thakur Bhai Neelaban. How did you come across Bhagavad-Gita in your life?
Hare Krishna, Guruji. Yeah. Well, I was actually born in a family, was to spiritual sort of life. My father and mother, they were quite spiritualized. So we had a lot of shastras, in the house, and I used to sort of often see, mother and father sort of reading various shastras, and obviously, I actually sort of saw some Gitas there, and I didn't really take much notice of it. But when I was a little bit older, probably in my teens, I think, my father gave me a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, and it was basically very simple slokas, and then just a translation of the slokas. And but I was more curious to find out what the meanings were, and what the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And I studied various Bhagavad Gitas, and I started listening to the cassettes. There was actually sort of sold by a lot of songs. But still, it didn't make any difference. I was still sort of getting nowhere. But the grace of, I think, Krishna, I came across the Iskcon, the classes in rugby, actually. When they were actually sort of holding classes in homes. And when I actually sort of went first time, the class was about some slokas, in Bhagavad Gita, and obviously during the classes, I used to have questions. Then somehow, some of the questions were actually answered within the class itself, and it just amazed me. And since then, the Bhagavad Gita is actually part of my life now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is how it all starts. It's so difficult. It's like a wall, and suddenly somebody shows you the door and the key, and as you go through there, it's a different life altogether. Now the wall is gone. You're inside it. Okay, I'll come back to you with my second question about Pujari Dev. So thank you so much for dedicating your life, to Srila Prabhupada's movement, and especially Coventry Yatra. And everybody loves you, and you love everyone. You respect everyone. So were you always like this, or did something happen in your life that?
Prabhuji, as I belong from a Bengali family, Prabhuji. So actually, my father passed away when I was 1.5 years old.
Oh.
We can see our situation was quite different, and also, but I was quite attracted to religious from my childhood. So because our financial situation was not okay, so I joined to work very early, in my early age. So what happened once, as I was sharing with you actually a few days ago. So there is a Durga Puja, very popular festival in Bengal, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So the person I was learning work under the person. So in the Durga Puja, he gave me 250 rupees actually to get some new clothes, because I had no anything, because I belong from the poor family. So as long as I got 250 rupees from him, so somehow it is definitely Krishna's mercy, as the Shastra said, Brahmanda Bhramite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bees. Only a lucky person, good enough lucky person can get the Bhakti Lata Bees by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So I would say Krishna gave me knowledge that particularly that day. I was thinking, why should I get some new clothes? Which is, if I get some new clothes today, it will be old tomorrow. or after
Yeah.
few days. So let me get a Bhagavad-Gita that I can read for forever, or I can learn something. So then I straightway went to the Iskcon temple with the 50, and that's all I had actually, only 250 rupees. And luckily Bhagavad-Gita, the price was also 250 rupees. So I got a Bhagavad-Gita. I came back to my workplace. So I used to wake up every morning at 3:30. That's why I'm doing here without any difficulty. So I used to read Bhagavad-Gita every morning, and other workers, they used to shouting on me, and they used to laughing on me. Sometimes they swearing on me. They used to see was disturbing us. Yeah, we are sleeping, all sleeping. You're reading Bhagavad Gita. Please don't do this, don't do it. So what I was carry on, I was continue. I said no, because I was testing every single thing. There's the also, as I was saying, I was attracted to the religious person, but there's a misguide. But other Bhagavad Gita, other sadhus, they couldn't guide me properly actually. But when I read Srila Prabhupada book, I was testing every single words, every single the
Philosophy.
philosophy. So that's the beginning. I got Bhagavad Gita in my life. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and all of you, I'm continuing till today.
Well, we are so happy that Krishna inspired you to spend the 250 rupees. That's all you had. And Krishna took it all. Krishna says, when you turn to me, I take everything you have. So
I think that's not money at all. That's the mercy of Krishna and Guru Maharaj. Yeah. That's not money.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Now, Neelaben, you organize these monthly programs at Kalyan Mandir, and Vidya Prabhu and myself, we actually join in and, have discussions on a chapter. And so we give what the contents of the particular chapter is and how each chapter, succeeds the previous one in the philosophy and how it expands and everything like that. So we've been doing these programs. So I would say both to you and Thakurbaiji, I mean, how have those sessions, like the contents of the chapter, help you to understand Gita? And we'll compare that with the regular reading we've been doing recently, coming up to Gita Jayanti, that every day we read a chapter with all the shlokas, because the Kalyan Mandir one, with the Prabhu and I, we choose just a few of them to give an idea what's in the chapter, but then reading each verse. So maybe you could let me know how the understanding in both ways has helped you, the monthly session and the daily reading. So what is your experience of that?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah, we call it Bhagavad-Gita Satsang, which is like once a month. Started off with chapter 1, and it's where I think you and Vidya Prabhu sort of read through the Sanskrit or English translation, and then there's a reading in Gujarati as well. So it is summary of the actual chapter, and sort of explain how what this the chapter is about, and it actually sort of gives you the insight of each chapter. Even though if it's sort of like because hour and a half is not long to sort of discuss it in detail. So I think what we sort of receive is a good good understanding of what the subject or the chapter is about. Things like Ajahn Vishad Yog, and things like which Karma Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, and it's something that you can then expand on as you go along.
It's like the different limbs of the Gita. You understand it. Like if you look at a man saying he's got arms, he's got legs, he's got face. So Gita then gets a picture that number one is this, and number two is doing like this. So whenever a shloka is spoken, say 6th chapter, you'll think of Dhyan Yoga. Somebody says, oh, chapter 3, immediately say Karma Yoga. It's going to be something about karma. Number 4, oh, it's going to be Gyan. So, you can quickly realize what the subject matter is going to be within the Gita. So that's good. And how about the daily reading, like reading all the shlokas? How's that helping?
Yeah, daily reading is very interesting because it's something to look forward to and go through the whole chapter in English translation.
And reading the purports as well. That really helps.
A daily practice at home without the Zoom even. You were telling me something that you have a calendar or something. You could tell the viewers about that.
Yeah, many years ago when we went to Vrindavan, we came across this calendar which is like it's the slokas. I think they've selected important slokas for each day of the year.
Yes.
So we read
one of these.
Oh yes, I've seen them. They're lovely.
Yeah.
And there's one for each day of the year.
Okay.
Well, one slok, and then because there are 700 sloks altogether, obviously they skip a few of them in between some of the sloks, So what we do is we actually read each slok in between each date as well. If there's any
gap, whatever the gap is, you also read that as well.
Sometimes we read in 3 or 4 sloks, or sometimes we read even 10 sloks if it's done a big job. But normally it's just a 1 a day or restricted. But it continues, but it helps us along with, it's made us, for me, in my case, it's really helped me to be more calmer and do more understanding and for the reasons what things happen for. Instead of getting too upset about things, it's part and parcel of life that it's just going to, and it's given me an understanding that it's all about a little bit about karma, and especially when we talked a few days ago, I think we talked about karma and that.
Yes.
It is something that you've done before. It's something, but I've never done nothing, but you don't know what you've done in your previous life, and that's what you're doing now.
Whatever you did, it's prarabdha now. You're not suffering. You're living that reaction of your previous birth now.
And that's given me an understanding of which I hadn't before. And it's given me a lot to think about what goes on in my life and why and the reasons behind some of that. So that way it's really helped.
Yeah, I think there's sloks. Obviously we've got Bhagavad-Gita, which we read it from, and I also read the translation. The synonyms for each slok that we read, and translation in English. And this calendar has a translation in Hindi. So I actually try and understand it from both languages. So it's quite useful, But
monthly program as well. We read it in English, then it's translated in Gujarati, and then I try to speak it in. Everybody gets. So language is very important. People understand a point when it's in their language much better. But if it's just they get the idea in another language, I know what they're talking about, but it doesn't go deep inside. But if it's your own mother language, I was just hearing a program, Chaitanya Charitamrita is written in Bengali, right? And the 6 Goswamis, they were living in Vrindavan. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, the 6 Goswamis were in Vrindavan and they wrote in Sanskrit. And most of the life was spent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal and Orissa. So they didn't speak Sanskrit. They weren't familiar, but they knew Bengali. So can you believe it? Till Chaitanya Charitamrita came, there was a whole lot of information scattered around. And in Vrindavan, the 6 Goswami didn't have influence in Bengal or in Orissa because they had moved to Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Charitamrita came on, where Krishnadas Kaviraj is so scholarly. He wrote the Sanskrit as well, he knew it, but he chose to write in Bengali while he was in Vrindavan. So all the Bengalis could relate to Vrindavan through this Chaitanya Charitamrita, and they got very impressed. And the stories which were there, he spoke the stories, Leelas as well, but he spoke the Siddhanta, the philosophy. Whereas other books, Chaitanya Bhagavat was written just about the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that, this happened. But like you said, you read the word in Bhagavad Gita, but then when you read purport by Srila Prabhupada, you understand that word much better. So Krishnadas Kaviraj, he spoke the Leela, but then he spoke the Siddhanta behind it, like why this was happening, about Krishna, Radharani, and all this. So it united the whole Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Otherwise, they were scattered. But because the language, he used Bengali in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you're right. It's best to understand in your mother language as well and be familiar with English. And that's why Prabhupada went to America. It's amazing. He wrote in English, and now there's about 80 or 100 translations of the Bhagavad Gita in everybody's mother language. And the point is the same, that we are not these bodies. Krishna is the Supreme Personality. So it doesn't change the point just because the language is different. So it's a good point what you say. So it's nice to refer to it like that. Yeah.
That's why, I mean, one of the things I'd like to say is that, the Sanskrit itself, even though I wouldn't understand it, just the listening to the Sanskrit or sound of it, it just gives me some very great vibration, or, just
goosebumps. Yeah.
Happy, just listening to it. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Really
and as far as the daily reading goes, I think that again, going from awareness of the chapter itself, and reading all the verses, texts, and then having a discussion afterwards, it brings out a lot of things that we may not be aware of, and that's very enlightening as well.
This session is called Churchill Session. It's almost like church word is there, but it isn't church, but it's Churchill session. So this discussion really, each member is understanding each other's points, but it is about Gita. I mean, like the poster is there, beautiful poster done by Sudarshan Prabhu, and it's Gita Jayanti on the 14th of December, starting at 6 p.m. And it says sponsor Gita. Now, it's called Shastra Dan. Thakurbai, do you think it's important to sponsor a book? Because there are people who can't afford maybe £10, and it's Christmas time, and Guru Shakti, my niece, she'll be coming here for the last week to distribute books in Coventry area, and there's Prem Prakash would be with his family going, to distribute, and there's others. We've done it in the past. So sponsoring is very important, because somebody who doesn't have money or something, he gets this wealth, just like Sachinandan Prabhu had the 250 rupees bus, but he got the Gita for it. Look, it changed his life. So do you think, and have you sponsored, Gitas in the past, and have you seen some sort of benefit in that? Maybe, you could tell us about it.
Yes. I mean, I've come across Bhagavad Gitas in hospitals and things like, and as far as I know, I think they were actually donated, to the hospital. And I've come across the devotees on the street, distributing Bhagavad Gitas and, the books.
Prabhupada's books and things.
I think it's very important, that people who can't afford it or haven't sort of heard of it might come across it and read it, and might sort of change their lives, just by reading. I've heard of quite a lot of stories, where people come across it first time and reading it. And changing their way of life altogether, which is amazing.
Well, there's a recent one where a person who's Western person, he came across a book 5 years ago. His friend had it. His friend just gave it to him. Maybe chant and be happy. So he's been chanting the Mahamantra 5 years. He never met any devotee in 5 years. He says, but it keeps me calm. My anger is gone. Lust is control. Everything. He was really mentioning. And this is the first time he met Guru Shakti, and he told him, I've been chanting for the last 5 years. So it shows you Prabhupada is reaching people. This just one small book. Then he bought the Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas and everything. And you can just imagine his life is going to progress and get better. Well, we encourage people to sponsor his 10-pound book. And if you do that, students get it, people in the street, people will be going out and distributing. But it's nice that if somebody can afford to give something when they get the Gita, then you'll value it. Otherwise, if you have something in free, you don't focus on it. But it'll do its magic anyway like that. So I'll come to Pujari Devji. So Pujari Devji, what is in the Bhagavad-Gita when you read it that made you feel, particularly which parts of Bhagavad-Gita in the early stages and even now, what hit you in the Gita thinking, oh my God, this point is really, really good for me. I mean, maybe you could, enlighten us.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhu, as I was saying, Prabhuji, in Bengali people, they are usually they're quite attracted to religious, but problem is they are guided by misconceptions. There are sadhus, gurus. They have no proper idea of shastras, but they give instruction to the people. So it's happened to me as well. So I was not also, although I was attending to the kirtan on different lectures, but I couldn't get the point. What is the purpose of shastra? What is the purpose of Bhagavad-Gita actually?
Yes.
But when I read Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad-Gita, Iskcon Bhagavad-Gita, so then it is very, very clear. Anybody read, anybody can understand. The one more main point I was catching, because it was very, very early, beginning phase of my spiritual life. So one thing I catch from Bhagavad-Gita in the first time, so Srila Prabhupada gave an example. If people try to become satisfaction by their own work, try or one way, they can't. But if people try to make Krishna satisfied Krishna, so people will get satisfaction automatically. So Srila Prabhupada gave an example of food. When someone is hungry from 2-3 days, so all the senses go weak. But if he want to make his senses strong, so he has to put food on his mouth.
Yes.
He shouldn't if he put the food in his every single senses, so it doesn't make any difference. But if he put as a food in his mouth, and if food goes to stomach through his mouth, so it will distribute to all the senses.
Wow.
Senses. Similarly, if someone serve Krishna, so Krishna is the root of a tree. As Srila Prabhupada gave another example in Bhagavad-Gita, I got the point actually. If someone put water in the root of tree, so water will distribute all the whole tree, every single leaves, every single branches, every single flowers. Similarly, Krishna is root of the whole things, our life, all universe. If we serve Krishna, so our senses will be happy, we will be happy. Ultimately, whole world will be happy. As Shastra says, Ved says, Jasmin tushte jagat tushta. Jasmin Krishna. If we make Krishna santushta, whole universe will santushta. This is the first things I got from Bhagavad-Gita. Then I realized by mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So why shouldn't I try to make Krishna happy then? If I try to become happy by my intelligence, my work, I'll never be happy.
Wow.
Yeah, but if I serve Krishna and try to make Krishna happy, and I can realize, as you said, what's the different makes nowadays. Nowadays, you can see, like here, I have no any relative, blood relative, no my parents, nobody here. But still, I think I'm the happy person in Coventry, more happy person. Why? Because I'm serving Krishna, because I'm serving Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj. This is the main thing, the main point I got in my first.
Right from the beginning, yeah. Okay, that's good. And talk about maybe, can you remember the turning point in your life when you read the Bhagavad Gita saying, now this really makes sense? Can you remember that point or verse or philosophy which you got and you thought, wow, this is amazing? If you can remember that.
I'll come to that first of all, if you don't mind, Prabhuji. Sorry.
Ladies first.
I came across it. It was at one point in my life, a few years ago, when I was very confused, looking for something, feeling very trapped, and thinking there's more to life, to work and home, and that's all I felt I was doing. And I kept thinking there has to be more. There has to be more. And a friend introduced me to the Satsang programs. He said, just come along. And that was the first time I came across like the Bhagavad-Gita and to anything. And it just happens that I went and sat there in the class, and it was Anand Vijay Prabhu who did the class at the time, and he was first started coming. And I was very nervous, very scared, but I was just really surprised that there was who was not a Hindu, but from Jamaica, and he came and he was the way he asked the question, and it was exactly how I was feeling. He said, if you were a bad person trapped in you've done something, a lot of commitment and a lot of crimes, and you're stuck in a prison, and you can't get out, there's no escape, and there's lakes, so there's water around you, and there's absolutely no escape. What do you do? And that was the question he asked. And it's funny, it just kind of hit me that that's how I was feeling inside. And he said, it's your Atma is stuck it's trapped in your body. And that's how that worked. I can't remember the exact words now, but I do remember the exact thing. But he answered everything. And that was the day when I found out, this is how I am feeling. And this is what's me. This is something else I couldn't understand where the feelings were coming from, those thoughts and questions and that. And like what would you say? All my answers, he just answered the questions, what was going through my head. And every time we went to the program, and that was, I think, was a big turning point for me. And I just convinced.
He gave hope.
He gave me hope. Yeah.
That's
and
very
that's when I started. And then after a few classes, actually, we started realizing that I'm not this body, I'm the Atma. There's Atma in here. And that was the one that was feeling trapped.
That's super.
That's made changes. And then after one thing after other, it's just kind of, I wanted to do offerings at home. I just live for Kirtan. And that's what I wanted to do. I used to live for Fridays. All day, all week I'd be working. But I was looking forward to Fridays and Saturdays where I could go for Kirtans. And then once I started in service at the temple, that's all I really wanted to do the whole week. Sunday program. So 3 things. That was me. And it's just kind of, that's what I would look forward to. And what I really do miss now. But, I'm quite happy just to walk to the station, no matter what the weather was like. I wanted to be there to go and serve Krishna at the temple. So I appreciate you really helping me to help serve in the temples. And Friday evening programs and that. You look forward to them. Anytime nobody wanted a program, I said, I'll have it at home. And we're quite happy to have programs at home. And it just leaves such a lovely vibration in the house at the end of the Kirtan and the class, and what the class is. But every time there was a class, I would always have a question in my head. And I've never mentioned it to Prabhuji or whoever came to the class. And they just happened to talk about that subject, and the answer always came up from the Gita.
Wow.
Which was just amazing. So it's been fantastic. It's really changed our lives. It's just definitely changed my life in a lot of ways.
Thank you for that. Thakurbaiji?
Yeah,
something.
Little by little, sort of, the things. So, like, when you come across all these, Prabhu just mentioned the senses, that how you can sort of control yourself, through sensing what, initially what we are made up of, and how the living in a material world affects us, with the mind and everything, and how we can sort of control ourselves, through various yogas, and it's given us or given me that ideas about Krishna sort of saying how you can control your senses, or if you can control your senses, you can progress further and things like so. But basically trying to sort of be careful on the calm, clothes, low, more, you know, shop, things like that, you know, and you're aware of it, and, you know, trying to sort of, you know, have a constant feedback to yourself, you know, to say, you know, if you've done something wrong, and if you say you become angry for some reason, then you immediately sort of, you know, try and correct it yourself, and
Yeah.
you know, that way, you know, the life, is
Yeah, the word control is very important. We tend to think control means stop. No, it's like driving the car. You're controlling the car, saying you keep it on the road, you still keep driving and all that. Control doesn't mean you park it and switch off. You control the car. No,
yeah.
life is going to progress. Control means keep it in the middle of the road, you know, turn left when you have to, go over there. And usually isn't about stopping the senses, it's engaging the senses. Yukta vairagya. So if you engage your senses, but in your constitutional way, dasanudas, or, you know, Nitya Krishna Das, in the service of the Lord, you're controlling your senses. But if you're not engaged in Krishna service, you're going to think about sense gratification. So you'll have plenty of time on your hand. And so the sense says, engage me, come on. But because there's no Krishna, then you want to enjoy his kingdom. So you either serve Krishna or his kingdom. Kingdom meaning you want to enjoy your senses. So the eyes are engaged in their sense gratification, the ear for that. You eat food which is not offered. So control is an incredible word. It really doesn't mean stop. It means that energy which is coming, you direct it properly. And if you don't do it, it's going to be patan, fall down. If you engage it properly, you're going to ascend and engage properly. And that's what Prabhupada said, become Krishna conscious. So even if you don't see deity of Krishna, you're conscious of Krishna. And there's another beautiful word. We use the word philosophy. And this one speaker was saying there isn't an equivalent word of philosophy in Sanskrit. We don't have that word because you could have atheistic philosophy. You could be atheistic. But usually they call it Siddhanta and sadhana. Siddhanta means what's the conclusion of the scriptures and what is your sadhana to achieve it. And another word for philosophy they use is darshan. Now the word darshan we use it for like looking at the deities. When you go to the temple, you take darshan of the deities. So they said philosophy also means darshan means although that object isn't there, by the way you're discussing it, it brings clarity in seeing that object. So it's darshan. So a point, this philosophy is giving you darshan of a concept which when you didn't discuss it, you weren't aware. Like Brahman is everywhere. It's a concept. But as you read Bhagavad-Gita, Brahmana tu pratishta aham, Krishna goes, I'm the basis of Brahman. So you realize it's like the sunshine. So the sun, from the sun comes sunshine. So when you get a model like that, what Krishna is saying, so then you realize that philosophy is giving me darshan. And philosophy is called darshan. So when the speaker spoke, I really enjoyed it because he said philosophy is a Western term. So usually we don't discuss philosophy and theology for our scriptures. We talk about Siddhanta. What is the conclusion? What is the sadhana? So here's the conclusion, like there is London. Okay, I want to go to London. How do I get there? By car, by taxi, by bus. So you can see it's very practical way of looking at Siddhanta and sadhana. Otherwise, it becomes a concept. So people just talk about philosophy and we shouldn't smoke, it's dangerous. While they're smoking. Doctor says you shouldn't smoke, it's danger of health, then he smokes himself. So you can see that's just a philosophy, but they're not living it. But Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna is speaking and he speaks by himself. First he speaks about us, the first 6 chapter. Then he speaks about himself. Then the last 6 chapter is the relationship. You can see the whole thing isn't just a concept. It's reality which you can enter and live it. And that's what you are doing like that. So on that point, do you have another point? What impressed you about Gita in the beginning?
Yeah, it's made me more disciplined about daily activities and things I do. Another thing, I think I place a lot of emphasis on prasad, which is
offering as bhoga.
Offering and honoring the prasad, is always more satisfying, than just going. I don't think we've been to any restaurant, for a long time.
Just enjoy that, or
even eating at somebody else's house,
It's not the
who's
same.
not really,
If you're not being offered, then you just know the
You
difference,
feel
and you don't
uncomfortable.
feel no.
So those sort of things are more aware of, and
Wow.
and I think we always sort of sing these sloks, Brahma Havi Brahman,
Yeah.
yeah, and the other slok as
We
well.
say prayers as well at different times, and then the aartis and everything, because it's scheduled now. You just know it. I've got to do my morning prayers, and then I've got to do the evening one. Then I've got to make bhoga for the Lordship the night time before. So it's scheduled. So the senses can't run away to do something else. But if you didn't have a schedule, your sense, okay, I'm bored. What do I do now? So then you'll think of some sense gratificational activity, which will take you down, So we're running out of time. That was lovely. One more thing, Pujari Dev, are you going to read the shlokas on the chapter on Tuesday?
Yes, Prabhuji, I am going
Which
to
one?
read chapter 4, Prabhuji.
In Sanskrit.
Yes, in Sanskrit, definitely.
We're looking forward to it because you're very, very active. Even today, you offered to sing all the aartis and everything. Of course, okay, one-man band, but let others have a chance. We're very enthusiastic. Thakurbaiji, which chapter are you going to be reading on Tuesday?
We read in chapter 12, which Bhakti Yoga. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be good. I think reading it, in the morning before the breakfast and things like the whole chapter.
Even YouTube, there's loads of lovely speakers. Their pronunciation is excellent, and their meter is very, very good. And so just go on to the YouTube as well. Just don't have to sound exactly like them, but you get an idea. Some of the words, how do they say it? And I must say that there's some young devotees who are going to be, our youth who are coming up today. They'll be speaking a whole chapter. There's one today, I won't give the name. Chapter 2, 72 verses for the first time. They're young, and I had to listen to them, and they got the ucharan really good, So I'll leave it as a surprise. So on Tuesday, we're going to have some young people who have memorized. I can't memorize like they can because they got memories like really good, But they will be speaking that, and one of them is actually going to speak chapter 2, which has got 72 verses on it. So we'll leave that hidden. And so on Tuesday, I think it's going to be excellent. By hearing Sanskrit, they say when people are leaving their bodies in Bharat, immediately they start to read the Bhagavad-Gita because their consciousness changes. So it says in the 8th chapter, whatever you're thinking of time of leaving, that's where you go. So they influence Upadhi, like Prabhupada was saying, that Upadhi be influenced in the lecture we were hearing earlier on. So it's important everybody tunes in, and from 6 o'clock onwards, and different speakers are going to read. I'm really excited because before it was Guru Sevak, Vidhu Prabhu and myself, we will read the whole, Bhagavad Gita, and others had the book with them. But now we'll be speaking some of them, and others are going to be leading. And I think this is exciting because the training everybody's getting, and they're growing, they're getting mature. The children are showing it. The others who used to be quiet and just listening, they are the speakers and leaders like that. I just, like Pujari Dev said, we feel very fortunate that why we are happy is because, Pujari Dev is selflessly doing the service. We are selflessly, also, join the temple activities and the festivals. And we got so many champions in our yatra. We're running short of time. The list is long, but the children are showing up a lot of potential as well, and they're committed. And to me, that's a sign of, Prabhupada's mercy, Krishna's mercy, Guru's mercy. And I really like to thank you for coming on this Churchill Session. And it was very, very exciting. And I think I would encourage everybody to sponsor the Bhagavad-Gitas because you will change somebody's life. Like we've seen the testimonies today. And I will be sponsoring. Please, I encourage others. And Christmas gift, rather than give a toy or a shirt or something like Pujari Dev said, give something like Bhagavad Gita to someone saying, Father Christmas gave you this one, or Father Krishna gave you this gift, and that's Bhagavad Gita. So why don't we do that? At least do one and sponsor the Bhagavad Gita, take it and give a copy and tell them this will change your life, you know. And don't tell them about who Krishna is, whatever, because they won't understand still, because this is going to change your life. It changed many people's lives. So thank you for coming. I really, really appreciate your input and your testimonies. And I think it's nearly time for Aarti. Pujari Dev, you're going to do that as well?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Like
Whenever you ask, it's okay. If you
no, we're ready now. We're ready now, because I'll just say it's been incredibly enlivening for me, you know, and I'm visibly seeing the progress everybody's making by this commitment. And it's the mercy of the Lord and this Bhagavad Gita and the Mahamantra. And Srila Prabhupada was, you know, told by his Guru Maharaj to go to the West and do the magic. And he did the magic, and the magic continues. It's going to continue for 10,000 years. Thank you so much. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. What a amazing Chacha. Really, really inspiring. And as you said, Prabhuji, that the best gift a person can gift is Bhagavad Gita, and we all are looking forward to it. I know when we go outside and then we find few people who just take out 20 pence saying that, look, this is what I have, but I'm interested. What should I do? Somebody will say that we don't have anything, but it's really interesting. What should I do? So those small contribution can actually change many interested people's life when they read about it.
So if people sponsor Bhagavad Gita, you're willing to people who have 20 pence give their sponsored Gita to them, yeah?
Absolutely.
So they definitely go out. I mean, it's not like collection and then nothing happens, because you are taking the risk in Corona. I mean, even the Prime Minister is saying, please go with the masks on, make sure you protect yourself, please. Don't give Gita and, you know, get Corona, because it's expensive, kind of a 20p plus Corona. You don't want that. You just want to give, you know. So give the mercy. So please do take precaution. And we applaud whoever else wants to come. Guru Shakti will be here. I think you might team up with her a little bit, because she's very, very encouraging, you know. We are blessed to have her she was born in Coventry. And, you know, Prabhupada said, go back home, back to Godhead. So Coventry is back to Godhead for her for December period. Then goes back to the manor. So thank you very much. So it's Aarti time, and I won't take much of your time. Thank you. Jai Ho.
Jai Gauranita, Jai Gauranita, Gauranita, Jai Gauranita, Jai Gauranita, 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 Jai Gauranita. Shiva Jaya Jaya Gauratane. Shiva Jaya Jaya Gauratane Arutika Shobha Janavi Jagamana Swami Namaste Saraswati Prabhupada Satya Desata Namaste Saraswati Bhagavad Nirvishesha Shundavadi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauriya Bhakta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauriya Bhakta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauriya Bhakta Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauriya Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatme Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Bhavatme Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Shama Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Shama Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jai Maharani Jai Subhadra Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jai Maharani Jai Subhadra Jaya Satchidananda Gaura Hari Vishnupriya Pranadhana Jaya Nitachan Jaya Nitachan Jaya Nitachan Ekachakratha Jaya Nitachan Jaya Nitachan Gaura 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 Hari Gaura Gaura Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Jai Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव जय गुरु हरि विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवारिकाचार्य अष्टो डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवारिकाचार्य अष्टो डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीहरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम सतु श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। गंगा माय यमुना माय की जय। भक्ति तुलसी महारानी की जय। प्यारे से निताय चांद की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। राधा माधव की जय। राधा गोकुल नंद जी की जय। राधा श्याम सुंदर की जय। राधा रमन लाल की जय। मधुसूदन महाराज की जय। मानिमा महाराज की जय। गिरिराज गोवर्धन जी की जय। मधुसूदन महाराज की जय। नरसिंह भक्तलाल महाराज की जय। पंचरत्न की जय। इस्कॉन कॉन्ट्री यात्रा की जय। इस्कॉन वर्ल्ड वाइड यात्रा की जय। महामंत्र की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, गीता जयंती महामहोत्सव की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, all glory to Assembled devotees, all glory to Assembled devotees, all glory Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Pranav Prabhu, Sudarshan Prabhu, Satyamataji, and Titiksha especially for such a wonderful evening Kirtan. It was really engaging. The way you danced and sang was really, really nice. Thank you so much. We all liked it. All glories to your service. Thank you. Hari Bol. And now, as we are approaching towards the end of the program, before announcements, we'll have Nasimati and we'll pray to the devotees, for the devotees, to begin with the departed souls, Srimati Kailash, Ishani Devi's grandmother, Martin Prabhu, Haridas Prabhu's cousin's husband. We also pray for Iskcon leaders, His Holiness Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Srila Lokanath Swami Maharaj, and other Iskcon Prabhus and leaders suffering around the world, and all those who take care of them. We also pray for His Grace Chananivas Prabhu, Venuji, Kalyaniji, Jayanatji, Vinod Manjri Mataji, Bhaktin Rita Mataji, Pradeep Pankanya ji, Dr. Reena, Lucky Roy Prabhuji, Brahamurti Prabhuji, Veena-Pani Mataji, Shantiban Solanki ji, Premhanshi Mataji, Shraddha Mataji, Srimati ji, Prem Mulan ji, Shalpati Rao ji, Satya Mataji's brother, His Grace, Satyanarayan Das Prabhuji, Gaur Hari's Mataji, John Prabhu, Devendra Prabhu, Kishore Bhai Thakkar ji, and all devotees and everyone suffering around the world, and the general well-being of the whole world. Hare Krishna. If Lord Narasimhadeva pleases, please bless all of us. Hare Krishna. And today's Nasimati is going to be sung by Anil Prabhu. So Anil Prabhu, if you are there, please start your video, unmute and start singing. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Anil Prabhu. All welcome to the program. Hare Krishna.
नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, प्रह्लादलाददायिने, हिरण्यकाशिपूर्वक्षया, शीलातङ्कानरकालाय, हेतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा, हेतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा, यतो यतो नरसिंहो, आहे नरसिंहो हृदये नरसिंह, नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये, तव कर कमलं हरे नकाम्, अद्भुत शृङ्गायां ललिता हिरण्यकशिपुर तनुविङ्गम्, केशवतीर्थ नरहरिरूप, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे। केशवतीर्थ नरहरिरूप, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे। जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय, प्रह्लाद महाराज जय प्रह्लाद महाराज, प्रह्लाद महाराज जय प्रह्लाद महाराज, जय सच्चिनंदन जय निताय चाँद, सच्चिनंदन जय निताय चाँद, Jayo Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jayo Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, Jaya Guru Maharaj. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gol, Nitai Gol, Nitai Gol, Nitai Gol, Nrsimhadev Bhagavan की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्री सचिनंदन निताय चांद की जय, श्री राधा माधव की जय, श्री राधा गोकुलनंद की जय, श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महाराज की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरु महाराज की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna, Hare Prabhu, Dhan Pranam. Thank you so much. Such a beautiful singing, and you always bliss is always on face, and you bring that enthusiasm to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, as we proceed further, we are approaching towards the end of our Sunday program. Thank you everyone for joining. It was a wonderful evening, very, very inspiring, and very inspiring days are coming. So the one of the most important day we have is the day when Gita Ji appeared. That's Gita Jayanti. That's on 14th of December, and we request you all to participate in it. After 6 p.m., we are going to recite Gita, and as Haridas Prabhuji told that it's wonderful that how our children in Yatra are coming up and they are going to recite Bhagavad-Gita slokas by themselves, and that's really wonderful, and it's really going to be a surprise as we came to know that children might be reciting chapter 2 entirely. That's really, really inspiring for all of us. And with that is a Moksha Ekadashi as well. And Ekadashi, as we do austere from food, grains, basically we austere from grains and beans, basically. So we also have opportunity to donate on that day, and it's very auspicious day to donate a Bhagavad Gita. We can do a Bhagavad Gita sponsorship by directly transferring Lakshmi to Temple's account. If you can see, there is an account number and bank details mentioned in the flyer, which will be sent on the WhatsApp group as well. Also, there's a way to donate Bhagavad Gita online as well. So if you're technology savvy and you understand, so you can also go on the site Krishna of Vrindavan, and there you can go on to the 3 arrows. If you see on the side of it 3 arrows, and you click on that and go to donate. And if you click on donate, so you can see in the below there will be Bhagavad Gita general donation announcements, and there is a sponsor Bhagavad Gita. Please click on that, and then you can go and transfer Lakshmi online as well. So the facilities are there very much. So that's really going to be wonderful. And as I said, whatever is donated is going to the needy person who are really interested but can't really afford to have one Bhagavad Gita. Also, it's a fruit and it's a potato day. That's Ekadashi. So please fast on that day as well. And with all blessings, we'll be reciting Bhagavad Gita Ji in the evening in Sanskrit. So whether or not we understand Sanskrit, but our souls really understand, and then it brings in the consciousness, and we get enthusiastic, and utsaha increases in ourselves to serve our lordships better. So hope the message is really, really clear, and everyone is inspired to at least do whatever possible sponsorship of the Bhagavad Gita Ji. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Thanks for joining in. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare